YouTube. Yeah, so I did an unboxing video for this last night and I cut it a bit short. I'll tell you about it later. There's not really any real world videos for this guitar. So I'm going to structure it slightly differently, not talk as much rubbish at the start for anyone who's not already a subscriber, because I tend to talk an awful lot. Yeah, so this is an FGN iliad. I think it's ILLIAD boundary model, and it's my first new guitar since my 19th birthday, which was not last year. When I say new, it's a 2019 model. Serial number starts F19. So new. To be fair, most, well, you can't really, of all the guitars here, what's that? That's 70s, 80s, 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 90s, 90s. So, and these are kind of two of my sort of more modern ones. I generally tend to go for Japanese guitars from the 80s, made in a few different factories. One of them being Fujigen, which is what FGN is. So it's a telecaster, but not quite. This bit's a little bit pointier, got a different shaped scratch plate. Ultimately, it's a telecaster. So as I said, I'm going to do this a bit differently. So playing through my wee Laney VC15, it's coming through that cabinet, and there's no pedals on just now, and the mic's there. So it's real, none of your processed nonsense. Neck pickup. Bridge pickup. Middle pickup. Bridge. Yeah, so it's ultimately, I'm saying brand new. I generally tend to think of anything in the 2000s onwards. So pretty much brilliant neck, apart from there's a really annoying scratch in the back of the neck, which you can't even see, but you can sort of feel it. So I might need to get some very, very, very fine sandpaper and just take that out. Apart from that, pretty much mint condition, and arguably new. Still got the scratch plate, should be shinier than that. It's still got its cellophane on it. It's like, so I just left it. I don't know why the previous owner didn't buy this. So Fujigen, factory from Japan. It says on it, established 1960. Just down below where it says Fujigen on there. Made in Japan, because it says made in Japan twice in the back of the headstock. Once in below where it says on Ibanez guitars, because they make the Ibanez guitars. In below the very Ibanez serial number there, and then in bigger writing there. So just in case you weren't sure. Lots of features on this. It's a telly, but it's kind of like the way telly should be built now, sort of thing. I really like the attitude this guitar has. Currently you can still buy this guitar brand new, but it's got a slightly different headstock. This one's a bit more telecastery than the current model. The current model is basically, I think it's the same here, and then here, instead of doing the telecaster thing, it kind of comes out a bit more, you know, a bit more stratty-y, like that, a wee bit on these guitars. Yeah, so it's got a really, I don't know, is that really going to show? See, wee details, see the way that's curved there? I mean, yeah, it seems very, 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 very right. I really like that. You can sort of see, it's like, it's fantastic. There's a wee nick there I can feel as well. But yeah, so wee details like that are really nice. And look at the routing where the truss rod goes in. It's like you just don't see routing like that normally. It looks, it's so clear, so clean. I think that's just a plastic nut, or it might be a bone nut. I don't know, I didn't look up the spec. It's well cut though. Gotor tuners, Scholler type. They're fantastic. And the old Fender split post type, so you can stick the string head in the top, so you don't get the jaggy bits that you normally get on guitar strings. maple neck's a two-piece, so it's got a separate fingerboard. I think it's quarter sawn. I can't remember, but I do have a couple of. There's a Schecter base there that does it, and I've got a Schecter telly which looks. I've not dug it out yet because I think this one might get jealous or vice versa because it looks very similar. You can see it looking at it there. Actually, in the light you've got there, it kind of looks. It looks like it goes to black at the edge. It doesn't. It goes to basically this colour but darker. They change very much in the light. See if I hold it. Look, see. If you hold it at that angle, you can see the colour that this looks just now is the colour that is, whereas the colour this looks now is the colour this is. Yeah. So we're working our way down, aren't we? Frets, gorgeous. They're fantastic. It's got a compound radius fingerboard. So down here, I think it's. You can look these up. There's a spec sheet. I think it goes from they did millimeters because they're Japanese rather than being in inches because it's not American. So it's 350 mil to 450 mil. I think it's kind of like a sort of 9.5 inch or nine and something inch radius down here, which is better for sort of, the curve that way. Nice for playing chords, but when you start getting up here, the strings start to choke, so it gets flatter here. So it's the frets are flatter here than they are here. It plays wonderfully. That's probably an element of that. It's also got the circle fretting system. CFS is installed on this instrument. I tried to explain this in a video I did with my pal Scott last night. There's a picture that is actually, see if you go to the page where the guitars are and then you slide down past where the specs are, there is a page explaining it, but you can see that picture there kind of explains the concept. Because the strings are closer together here and further apart here, yeah, then you know that these strings aren't all parallel, so you don't want the fret to be straight because then the strings are coming in. You can use this cocktail stick in this, so you want the strings to be parallel to the neck, but as these strings aren't perpendicular is the word I'm looking for. So the ones on the outside, this is exaggerated, are kind of crossing the fret like that. So what you do is you bend the fret like that, so that whenever the string touches it, it goes over it at 90 degrees, which must be better. Whether I think it's just that there's so many things to a guitar. You can't just have amazing circular frets on a rubbish guitar. It won't make any difference. It's, once you start getting to the fine tuning things where you're trying to make an excellent guitar, things like that must make a difference. Yeah, so it's got circular fretting system, which is kind of one of the things that sold it to me because I quite enjoy telling people about it. Maybe. Body is basswood, which is what all the Ibanez ones are made of. And I found out recently was what Alan Holdsworth spec'd for his Ibanez because it's the best wood, and it's like Alan Holdsworth is an absolute mega guitar genius that I don't understand what he's doing at all. But when it's like I've got no doubt, anything he tells you, you just go, yeah, I'm 100% sure you're right. I just don't understand. So basswood or basswood, whatever way you put it. Also keeps the price down a bit. Apparently basswood's like one of the best. It's the best wood for making guitars out of, pretty much unarguably. The thing it doesn't have is a really nice grain on it, so it kind of looks a bit plain. You can see some grain in this one. See, it's made out of 3 strips. So you can see there, this one has a lighter patch there between the strips, and there's 2 strips here. But the finish on this is absolutely delightful. So it's got a cool fujigen logo, if I can get the angle right, where it's going against something black. There, and sort of. It's got like a fujigen logo, and it's got the high access neck thing, which when you get a guitar that's got it, you always go, it doesn't make any difference. It's when you go back to a normal telly, you go, oh, there's a jaggy bit. So you don't notice it until it's gone. Joni Mitchell style. You don't know what you got until it's gone. Standard Telecaster pickups type. So 2 single coils, that's kind of how I justified having it. It's because I don't actually have... That was my previous two pickup Telecaster because it's got... But it had a hole in the middle which someone had tried to put a humbucker in, so I had to modify it to make it do something. So my argument there is that's no longer a normal telly, whereas this is a normal telly. It's weak, I know, but that's... You got to try and justify it somehow. That's how I did it. One of the reasons I managed to justify this, not even though I've got a Schecter telly which looks like that, which is very similar colour. It's 2 humbuckers and it's got a rosewood neck, a rosewood fingerboard. So the maple just justifying it to myself. These are unbelievably good value for when you buy them new. For the quality level, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, so we're still talking about specs, aren't we? So the neck pickup, which I always thought a neck pickup on a telly was rubbish, but this one is amazing. It doesn't have that sort of muffled far away and only useful if you've got another setting on your amp for it. You know, it's like, normally with a telly, well, I find with a telly neck pickup, if you're going to use it, it sounds good, but you kind of want to have a stomp box going into another channel on your amp to boost it, to make it sound the same level as the other pickups. But in this one, it just works so well, and the tone control is amazing. It just takes away the very tip. I don't know whether it's a special value or something, or maybe it's just because it's new. It just seems you don't. You know, normally when you turn on the tone control, it just makes it. It's like it just makes it sound like you're putting a pillow in front of it. This doesn't. Okay, it does when you put it fully on. Bridge pickup, which I can't argue is just a fantastic sounding heli bridge pickup. That's where I always play when I'm trying to explain, to show how telecaster or something is. But as I was saying there, the distance between, so I've just leave the volume and the tone up at full bung. Neck. There's not a massive huge jump, and you can use them both on the same channel on the amp, no bar. Plenty of bite in it. But the things in the middle position, you just get both the bottom end of the neck and then the bite. It's just the best middle position I've ever heard on a telly. I mean, definitely your Mark Knopfler. I don't think that's in the right key. Very high quality. The routing, I haven't actually had a look in at the back of these pickups or what they are. They're just the fujigen originals. You can tell by looking at the back of the pots, which I looked at. So it's got big pots. The switch, which if you've been on my channel before and I've been talking about the made in Japan switches, you get this. They're sort of like the Oak Grigsby ones, and they're just rubbish. So even my Ibanez Blazer, it had the original. I just put one of the modern ones, you know, the ones with the green circuit board on it, because they work. That's what's in this. So you call it a cheap switch, but yes, it's cheaper than the old-fashioned one, but they work better. It's like it's just a better. It's a better way of doing the switch. It's just that's not how they didn't know how to do that in the 50s. So it's like, oh, it's got to be vintage correct, you know. Yeah. So looking at the pots, you can tell that these pickups have never been out. Looking at it's hand soldered onto the switch. So you're looking at it going, it's very well soldered. You know, you can't really tell on the switch, but when you look at the earth leads going onto the back of the pots, they're definitely never been touched, because you can sort of tell, because you just can tell. I figured this was going to be an upgrade, because it's actually got the black string wrapped around the pickup, like what you get on like broadcaster pickups, or any pickup you see for more than 50 quid has the string wrapped around it, which I'm sure must cost about 2p to do, but it shows you the level of detail that went into this. We've got a six saddle bridge, so it intones unlike a proper telly does, and again, it's the details. The 6 through-string ferrules, I have never seen them so straightly done. They're absolutely, I mean, normally you look at it, it's like you can sort of go, oh, that one maybe just slightly off. You're talking fractions of a millimetre, and this one they all look absolutely identical. Also, when I was changing the strings, you know, in a Telecaster, these always fall out, and end up, you go, oh, they're missing and they're stuck on the old strings. Nope. You wouldn't get that in a Fujigen. It's only cheap, nasty shite guitars that do that. They're stuck in. As you can see there is a bit of a belly carve on it, which is quite good. So you get like comfort carve, I suppose. You still get the flat top. Yeah. So I mean, the thing is, it's absolutely brilliant. The reason I have stopped, I stopped the video last night when I was doing it with my pal Scott, was two of us were raving about it. I'm going to put I was using that mic, right, and I had it sitting there. It wasn't until halfway through it I remembered we were sitting down there talking, so I had to move the mic. So I'm going to stick it on the end of this as a sort of bonus thing of our reaction to it then, because I've kind of talked about all the same things here. So if you stick about at the end, there's a sort of bonus thing, but the audio isn't very good, and you can hear me because I'm sitting right next to the mic, and you can hear Scott half the time, but not all the time. But it's just amazing, and the reason I didn't leave any of that on last night is because there's a fujigen going tonight on eBay, and by the time I put this video out at 7 o'clock tonight, Scott will either have won it or it'll have gone. I just like the quality level is ridiculous. So fujigen, big Japanese factory, they made that. That's not branded Antoria, so that's like 1970. I think that's in the Ibanez catalogue between 1970 and 1975. So I just decided I'm going to say it's 1973, been in the middle somewhere. It's really nice. That one needs a refret, and I got it beat up, but that's pretty good. Also, that's a fujigen. That's a Fender Japan photo flame strap from 1994 or 95. Because they actually made Fenders. I've actually got the 16th ever Squire made by Fender Japan, which is a Squire Bullet, which I should probably have brought down, but it's fujigen as well. So they did a deal in 1982 to do Fenders, and any made in Japan Fender is made in the fujigen factory, i.e. this one. Incidentally, there's also a factory tour, which is the only reason I'd ever heard of these guitars, because I looked up, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, something like that, maybe a bit longer than that, looking up, Japanese guitar factory, and it was the only place that had a video, and it was Fuji FGN guitars we were making. I've never heard of them. It doesn't say Fender on it, so it immediately costs half as much as the Fenders. It's like, but it's made by the same people, and they've been shown off. It's like, I'd imagine the quality control on this is pure ridiculous. It's like there is not. I mean, I have to keep saying there's a couple of dents, but it's a year old, so there's human dents, not from the factory. This thing is there's just not a blemish in it anywhere. Every part is just awesome. Even just just down to wee things like the saddles are pure. You just tell looking at them. If you look at them close, go, oh, those are really expensive ones. Every part of this guitar, it's a really strange experience for me, having where everything is brilliant. I mean, lots of the guitars I've got, I replace pickups and tuners and I do replace parts all the time. So, but it's very rarely that I'll have a guitar where everything's brand new and everything's high spec. You do see people upgrading the pickups in these things, and to be honest, I think that's just because they didn't spend enough money on the guitar. It's like, I really want £1,000 guitar, so I'll stick £300 worth of pickups in it. I mean, why would you want a? I can't understand why you would want a tele pickup more than that. That's a Joyo US Dream pedal in there. So I think what I said there about putting on the bonus thing, it means I think I'll put that in another video, because I'm already at 20 minutes and I've not had my big massive long super jam in it, which is, I'm really enjoying this guitar, so that big long super jam might end up being really long. Really long. It just plays so damn well. I lowered the action a little bit from what it was, but I mean, it'll go lower. We'll talk about fujigen as well. So yeah, that one there's fujigen as well. That's an Ibanez Roadster. Also, all the made in Japan Ibanez are fujigen. I think after, certainly since the mid 80s anyway, all Japanese Ibanez are fujigen. I think, I don't know, but sorry, I kind of get sidetracked there. So the made in Japan Fenders are all fujigen. After 97 or 98, they lost the contract. They split up with Fender, and there was some legal thing about the made in Japan thing. So anything after 97 or whatever it is, 96, 97, 98, is crafted in Japan, and they were made by Tokai or the Dyna factory, not fujigen. But they're all crafted, and there's some legal reason for it. That it's not just a pure, oh, we'll do that to make it different. Fujigen somehow hold some sort of leeway, or they own the rights to Fender made in Japan or Fender Japan, something like that. Yeah, I don't know what other makes it. They made lots of high-end guitars in small batches. So even though this doesn't fit into my collection at all, because it's new, it totally does because of where it was built and the quality level of it, because that's why I like these old guitars. The quality level's right through the roof, and to be honest, this is it. And looking at it, comparing this to it's actually, I think this is like £100 cheaper than a Mexican standard telly, like the bog standard one. Miles better. Doesn't say Fender on it. No, it doesn't. So it's not actually a Telecaster. Is it better in every single other way apart from it not actually being officially a Telecaster? Damn right it is. I actually like the look of it as well. It's a slightly sleek. It's also not quite square here. No, it's just a wee bit going in the offset way. Kind of looks weird. When you look at it straight on, you can see it's not a telly, but as soon as you put any angle on it, it just looks exactly like a telly. I think they've been very clever with it, and I quite like this as well. It's also available. There's another one I saw which I hadn't even bought. This one hadn't even arrived yet. I had to wait like a whole week for it to come. And there's one you get which is basically exactly the same as this, apart from it's got the the big scratch plate like you get on the Telly Deluxe or whatever it is. It doesn't have this. It's got a big white scratch plate that's got a humbucker in the neck. And it's like, it looks really good as well. And you just look at the price of these things, and it's like, I mean, I can't even tell you how much I paid for this. If you look up on eBay and complete listens, you'll see it, and you'll go, "You paid what? What's wrong with it?" And it's like, what's wrong with it? It's FGN, not Fender. That's all. There's nothing else. To be honest, I would rather have FGN. Yeah, so I'm sticking a wee back, and I've been gibbering this for long enough. No idea what I'm going to play. I always play in A minors. I just stay playing in A minor. Reggae? Really? I missed it though. That's why I don't like just because you get the time right. No, I can't play reggae. So it was really stupid me setting it up. Yeah, so this is already not turned into a very short video, 23 minutes. I've not started my jam yet. Failed again. Middle. Bridge. enjoy your US stream for distortion. Both pickups. Two frets. Neck. Well, for more distortion, but a bit of fuzz perhaps. A bit louder, eh? Bridge pickup. That was the Delamo fuzz, this is now the twin note fuzz. Both of these are super cheap. Yeah, I'll leave that. It's been half an hour now. The reason I'm playing lots of wrong notes is because this guitar's making me try other things that I've never really tried before, and I'm completely rubbish at any sort of musical theory. I'm just playing the notes that I remember sounding good. So this is really making me. Why have I got noise? Keep feeling. Yeah. For some reason the bass, I think I stood on the lead, maybe broke the lead there. Yeah, so I can't really. I don't know. It really is sick when you get a guitar like this that isn't pure mega popular. Why is this not all over everywhere? Going, look at this, compare this to one at twice the price, and it'll do well. So much so my pal was even. But the reason, as I said, is he's trying to buy one today because it's like pure as soon as you, even when you look at it up close. I saw this in a guitar shop in Glasgow, Merchant City, about a month ago or something. Oh, there's those FGN guitars. I've never seen one. You could tell, see, just by looking at it, even from a not even playing it, just looking at it going, wow, the quality level pure through the roof, which is why I like all these guitars. I mean, something like that Roadster there, but fujigen is just, it's like one of the best guitars in the world, and it really is up there. It's really up there at the sort of point where you go, how could it be any better? This is the boundary, which the iliad I think means telecaster shape, and the boundary is the cheap one. So this is the cheap one, which means you don't get binding, fancy inlays, or named pickups. They tend to have Seymour Duncan's, the more expensive ones, but I mean, these are things you don't need. What you should be spending money on when you're building a budget guitar, I mean, it's not budget, but they spent the money on making the build quality is right up there, as good as you can get pretty much, and that's what's important, which is kind of why I like the old Japanese guitars anyway, because that's what they did. Even though, okay, the ones I've got on the wall there are sort of the fancier end of the market, but even the basic ones, you just get it and it's like pure, yeah, okay, it doesn't have, binding or any mother of pearl on it, but it's like the actual build of the guitar is amazing. I mean, it's like I wouldn't even insult this by comparing it to any of your modern Squires. It's, I mean, okay, you can get, oh look, but it's got ebony fingerboard and Seymour Duncan's in it, and all these. It's like, yeah, but the guitar's nothing like as good as this. I'm sorry, I know I always badmouth Squires. They're all right. I quite like the really cheap ones. The cheapest one, because you kind of know what you're getting. So if you're going to buy your first guitar, then you're going to get one that sort of works. But this is through the roof quality of feel and sound, and I wouldn't be upgrading it. To upgrade it, you would if I was going to buy an upgrade for this, I might buy a nice tweed case, something like that. Even I should look up the price of a tweed case. It's like we're kind of getting onto like a third of what I paid for the guitar, so I won't be buying one. But if I was, I also think they've done, maybe the knobs are slightly different, but what I'm noticing with this is, I wonder if there's maybe a slightly bigger distance between the switch, because normally in a Telecaster, when you flip it onto the bridge pickup, you get in to take it off the bridge pickup, you always end up touching the volume control and either lowering it or raising it a little bit. Doesn't seem to do it in this guitar, so I mean, I think it might just be a case of, 5mm, this knob is further this direction than it is on a Tele, which means it doesn't interfere with the switch the same way. So expect a video next week. So I mean, good luck, Scott, with your guitar you're trying to buy tonight. He was just like, he didn't even get a shot of this when I went in and tried it. Thanks Merchant City Music in Glasgow as well. They've got a few of these left. They don't have this. They've got a black one, which is actually rather nice as well. But go in and try it and just buy it. £500, £499 for a guitar that will wipe the floor with almost anything. Really. The ends of the frets. It's circle frets, man. How can you not have circle frets? How can I ever go back to not having circle frets? Actually, one of the things I was actually thinking an upgrade is, see, the string tree is one of those wee old metal ones. My pal Chrissy bought sort of white graphite ones for, I can't remember which guitar it was, but he only needed one, so I've got like an all parts white graphite one, which I might put on there. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just like, you know, make it a bit more rollery. But the thing stays in tune like nothing else. I just put haven't even put my real strings on it. I normally put elixirs on my guitars. I didn't have any, so this has just got Roto 10s on it. But again, it's like Scott did the same things he did with that guitar. I did a video about Roadsters and that, and you could see when he was holding it, physically slightly uncomfortable with it because he knew it was much better than the way I had it set up. Because I had it playing and it was like, plays like a great guitar. He's like, yeah, it does play like a great guitar. Can I take it home with me so I can set it up and it'll play like the best guitar in the world? And it's like, yeah, on you go, enjoy it as long as I'm getting it back. And I was like, I got it back and it's like it's the best guitar in the world. It's like he'd seen that it was much better. Even the same thing happened with this because I was playing this with him yesterday and I was like, yeah, this is amazing, nothing wrong with it at all. He's like, wait till you've been in at it and adjusted it to get it its full, you know, tuned it, not. I mean the way you tune a car as opposed to, you know, no, I don't mean in tune, just like, you know, setting the intonation, getting the action right and all these things. It's just, what a difference it made. It went from being a guitar that was pure amazing to one that's just pure, whoa. How much did you pay for it? Yeah. So I'll have a look at the footage I took last night of me and Scott talking about it, and it might be coming up in a minute's time after, you know, as a sort of bonus thing, or I might just not put it up at all. I can't really remember what it looked like. I haven't actually checked it. So the end of the video is now. There might be some bonus shite stuck on the end. But FGN, look them up and go, what? How come? But that's not an expensive guitar. Feels like one. If you've got the opportunity to try it, especially if you're in Glasgow, go into Merchant City and buy the ones I've got. When I was in like a month ago, when I first saw them, they had one like this. And then that was about the time I saw this. This had been on eBay for months. And it just sat there. And it's like, it started off, it was like, how much for a Japanese? Is it really Japanese? Really? And it's like, me and our pal Dava were talking about, I think what they do is they maybe order in, you know, do they maybe get them built in Korea or something? And I was like, no, Japanese, made in Fujigen. And as I said, okay, like, it's the budget one, so it's just, but Telecasters were meant to be budget. It's basswood, so that's cheaper than ash, because Telecasters are ash. Telecasters say Fender on the headstock. Even if it says Squire, it still says Fender. Yeah, but these are the ones that made the best Fenders. The Japanese, like, I don't think you'll find much argument. Well, is it 1985 or 1986? Fender didn't even make any guitars in America. It was only Fender Japan you could get, so they were the best without any argument. Even if they were shit, they were the best Fender you can buy from 1986 or 1985 is the Japanese one. Even if they were shit, no, they're pure amazing, and it's pretty much well regarded. It's not really, are the Japanese Fenders better than the American ones? And they might, it's not like a pure, oh no, they're not. It's not that. It's definitely a pure, well, it's fair possible. Even proper Fender heads. Maybe if you've just spent £50,000 on a 1952 Telecaster, you might turn your nose up a little bit at this, but to be honest, you would have your £50,000, probably more than that actually, for a 50s Telecaster, and you would play that in the house and you would show people this is the one you would take to gigs. I even looked up the thing. I will stick the bonus thing in. 40 minutes! This is going to be a pure hour long video. So, rock on, live stream tomorrow night. I'll probably have to be playing this a little bit, I would think. I've not yet had the I'm a bit scared to bring out my Schecter, because it's kind of the same as this. It's got two humbuckers, it doesn't have a scratch plate. It's got a rosewood fingerboard, but it's kind of the same idea. And the neck's the same, or feels very similar. It's a U-shaped neck. But it's just glorious. 22 frets as well. Rock on. There might be bonus footage, there might not be bonus footage. It's already 40 minutes. Should I put it out now? There'll either be bonus footage or there'll be stuff stuck in the description of a sort of crappy, not good enough to release because the sound's not awesome, but some of it's fine. I've just made Scott's reaction to actually just taking this out of the box, and it was like, I waited all day yesterday for Scott to come round, so I was like, I was like, and you don't know, you've got the box, it's like, is the neck snapped in transit? Is it not going to be as nice as the one I saw in Merchant City? And it was. Rock on, catch you later, and tomorrow night's live stream.